Okay, time for a new video, and whether you are somebody new to my channel or you are returning to my channel to watch this video, it is greatly appreciated. As always, I'm filming this video in one go, so if I stumble over my words moving forwards, apologies about that. And also, if the quality of this video is fairly poor as well, if there's any lag, anything like that at all, sadly it cannot be helped, and hopefully it is not too much of an issue for you. This is yet another Eurovision 2023 related video here on my channel, and ladies and gentlemen, the time has come at last to tell you my current top 37 of the ESC 2023, which, as we all know, will take place this May in Liverpool in the UK on behalf of current champions Ukraine. As always, you're very welcome to let me know your thoughts on anything I discuss in today's video in the comments section below, and in the description, as always, there are links to my other social media pages. Check them out if you want to. So, over the past couple of days, I've been going through all of the songs, rediscovering some of them, because it has been a while since I listened to some of these songs in full, and I now have a ranking. Of course, it is interchangeable. It is likely to change either only a little bit or significantly over the next couple of months, and I never really say a ranking is final until about 2 months after the grand final has taken place, because by then I've tinkered with the list enough and I've had enough of looking at it, so I sort of say to myself, okay, that's it. It's pretty much done and dusted. It's final. And I'm sure it's the case for you as well. You might have a ranking at the moment, and countries are moving up and down all the time. One day you might like this song, and then the next day you're not so keen on it. That's the way it is. Ranking songs is quite difficult, and of course it goes without saying that it's just a bit of fun. So this is my little disclaimer, which I don't need to say, but I will do anyway. Don't take this too seriously or too personally. Somebody has to be number 37 just as much as somebody has to be number 1. If you are unhappy with where I've ranked one of your favourites, or indeed your own country, it is what it is. It's nothing serious. Hopefully you are not going to be too distraught with this ranking. And as I have already said, and I will keep saying this, a lot of the positions here are interchangeable. If it's anything like in previous years, my top 7 or 8 will probably stay roughly the same. My winner will stay the same. That very rarely changes. But every other position is pretty much up for grabs. So, without further ado, let's get going. I usually, at the start of the year, once we have about 5 or 6 songs for the upcoming contest, I put them into a list on a spreadsheet, and then I just add every other country as and when to that list, and before you know it, they're all there in some sort of ranking. For whatever reason, I didn't do that this year, so I went onto the online sorter that I know a lot of other people use as well, esc.gerber or gerber.com, and you just click away and it does the ranking for you. So I'm looking at that screen right now because that's what I've used to put together this top 37. So let's go from bottom to top. My number 37 of the year, ladies and gentlemen, it is the Romanian track, DGT Off and On by Theodore Andre. The national final performance, I think, has clouded my opinion of this song quite significantly, which I know isn't great. But I'm just waiting for that next live performance, that Eurovision performance. That's what I'm waiting for, because this could be really good live. The national final performance was not good enough. It was messy, sloppy, I wasn't engaged, his vocals could have been a bit better. I don't know, there was a lot going on and I couldn't really follow it, and I wasn't really that interested in it. But I like the slight, gritty rock edge this song has. I think that needs to be elevated, but not in a really poor, sleazy manner, as it was sort of coming across in the national final, to be honest with you. The studio version is better than the live version, but like I said, I am waiting for the Eurovision rehearsals. I'm waiting for that performance in the second semi-final, because this could be elevated a lot for me. Right now, though, this is not a song that I'm gravitating towards. It is my number 37. Let's move on. My number 36, Croatia, Let 3 Mama Shu. This does have a catchy chorus, and you've got to give credit where credit's due. This is obviously very striking. They're a band that have been going for a long time. It wasn't a surprise they won Dora a couple of months ago. This is obviously going to leave a very strong impression on a lot of people. Whether that's a good impression or not, I don't know. If this makes the final, cannot imagine for the life of me the juries will love this. The public, on the other hand, this is just the sort of thing, I've said this before, this is just the sort of thing I can see the public going for in big numbers. None of us should be surprised if this finishes above a lot of other fan favourites this year. like Israel or something. I wouldn't be shocked whatsoever if this song finishes above Israel in the semi-final at the very least. I do think it's all over the place. And I know that this song has a message, but 99% of people watching in May won't know and won't really care about the message. So I don't know if that's going to have any sort of impact on the result or not. Obviously, this is a very divisive tune. I like it a lot more than I did when I first heard it, but it's still my number 36 of the year. And it's been a long time since I really loved a Croatian track. My number 35 is Azerbaijan, Tural Turan X with Tell Me More. This is charming, very British in sound, very different for Azerbaijan, very low key, very pared back. Can't imagine there'll be much to the staging here. I think their vocals are quite nice. I think the song builds up relatively nicely as well, but it just doesn't stand out nearly enough for me. It is fairly forgettable, and I would be gobsmacked if disqualified. My number 34, San Marino, peaked Jacks like an animal, still waiting for that studio cut. National final performance was fine. Lead singer's got a pretty good voice. Quite liked the colourful visuals as well, but doesn't leave much of an impression, and I really don't know where the votes are going to come from for this. But as somebody who enjoys rock music in general, I can appreciate this for what it is. I just can't rank it any higher. And I've seen a lot of people rank San Marino below 30th, so it doesn't bode well. My number 33 is Georgia. Iru Kechanovi with Echo. Still need to do a blog post about this song. Lyrically, I don't think it's that great. In terms of the actual musical quality of the song, it's not bad. I think it's a lot more straightforward than some of the Georgian entries we've had previously. I mean, this couldn't be further away from Circus Mircus, of course. I don't really have much to say about it. It's just not one that's really sticking in my head. It's not one I'm going to when I want to listen to a Eurovision song from this year. It's just falling to one side for me. I have to say I find it quite disappointing. I was hoping for something a lot more powerful. I was hoping for something that made a lot more sense, to be honest with you. I really don't know what this song is about. Maybe that's just me not looking at the lyrics that much, but believe me, I will do before too long. I don't know, it's not quite coming together for me. I can't quite connect with it as much as I want to, but it's not a bad song. My number 32 is Albania. The revamp didn't really change my opinion on this song much. Great vocals here, Albina and Familia Kelmendi with Duje. Like the way it builds up as well. Quite powerful, stirring stuff. It's in Albanian, which is great. I like the fact that it feels quite traditional too. But it's the same story. It's just not standing out enough for me. And there are 31 other songs that I prefer at this moment in time. My number 31 is Belgium. Still think that this was the wrong song for Belgium to send, but I think it is gaining in popularity, I would say. This is Gustav, one of the best male singers this year, with Because of You. Feels very 90s, a little bit on the dated side. It is dance, pop, it's quite camp, but it's quite energetic at the same time. It gets you pumped up, it makes you feel good, and I'm hoping it's staged in a different way from how it was at the national final, because I wasn't really impressed by that staging that much. More colour, more vibrancy. Thought this would have opened semi-2, it's not happening. Might still go through though. It's not bad, but at the time of the Belgian national selection, I didn't see anybody say that this was going to come close to winning it. And it did. And now I think people are just starting to warm up to it, perhaps, including myself. My number 30 is Greece. Now, I listened to this song very recently, and I still couldn't tell you the melody of it. I think this is fairly unremarkable stuff. Really, I do. He's 16, so fair play. He's going to be on that big stage in front of a big audience. I'm sure he'll be nervous, but I hope he does a smashing job. His voice is nice. And the chorus, it is quite emphatic, you know, and there's that moment in the music video I remember where he's banging the drum and the water is spraying everywhere. That's pretty cool. But I don't think this has immediacy. I say this all the time. People watching Eurovision in May, the vast majority are going to be hearing these songs for the first time. So if it's not grabbing their attention, you could be done for straight away. And this Greek song, I don't think, really grabs people's attention straight away. It takes a little bit too long to get going. It takes a little bit too long to warm up, unfortunately. But it's still not a bad song. Number 29, Ukraine. To me, this is a fat disappointment. This is Heart of Steel by Tvorchi. I think we are so used to Ukraine sending something capable of winning. This, to me, is not winning material. This, to me, shouldn't be anywhere near the top 10. Will it finish in the top 10? Probably. Will it challenge for the win? We shouldn't be surprised. Should Ukraine be crowned champions this year as they were last year? No, I don't think so. But I really don't mind this. I just find it a little bit dull. Really, I do. That's the best word to describe this song for me personally. I know it sounds harsh, so I apologise, but I find it dull. There's nothing for me to really grip onto. There's been a revamp, which makes it a little bit more impactful, I guess. The vocals are fine. It's a very different sound for Ukraine, this almost R&B thing they've got going on. So fair enough, very different from last year. But I think it falls a bit flat for me. Nevertheless, it's nowhere near my bottom. It's my number 29. Number 28, Latvia. This is emerging as a serious dark horse. So many fans seem to love this, which is interesting. And as I've said previously, the same thing was said about Latvia last year, and we all know what happened there. People just forgot to vote for them. This year, will the same thing happen again? Possibly. It's a very, very tough first semi-final. This is Sudden Lights with Aya, this lullaby-type tune, very indie, almost like some sort of hazy dream that you're in when you're listening to this song. I'm very conflicted on how to feel about this one, because there are things that I like about it and then things that I'm not so keen on. I think it's just the way that it all flows together. It sort of picks up in pace and then really slows down. Maybe it's a bit on the jarring side for me. I don't know. Is this going to qualify? I really don't know. Let me know your thoughts on this. It's such a tough semi-final, as I just said. I want to like it more, but I'm not the sort of person who's just going to force myself to like a song. It's my number 28. My number 27 is Poland. This is Blanka with Solo, and I feel sorry for her, because no matter what happens in May, she's just going to get comments left, right and centre about how she doesn't deserve to be there, how Polish people are furious that it's not Jan, etc, etc. It's over and done with, okay? This song was released well in advance of the Polish national selection, millions of views online before the Polish national selection, so clearly Polish people knew about it anyway. Clearly a lot of Polish people really loved it, and it was the runner-up in the Polish selection anyway. And to be honest, Jan's performance I didn't think was that incredible anyway, just as much as this one wasn't that incredible. So, you know, it is what it is. Blanka, I like her, but her vocals were all over the shop in that national final, and she has got to improve massively. I am not a professional singer, but I can see that she was not singing terribly well in that national final performance, and the staging was just bland, predictable. It's a fairly cheap tune. I was listening to it the other day. The verses sound very sort of early 2000s for me. It is the sort of thing that would have done better 20 years ago, arguably, in the contest. Istanbul, Riga, those competitions, this would have done a bit better. Lyrically, I don't think it's that amazing either, but nobody really gives a toss about lyrics at Eurovision anyway, I would say. I've said that before. What else can I say about this Polish track? It's summery, it's fun, but it's really, really quite plain at the same time. Nevertheless, it's my number 27. My number 26, these positions are very much interchangeable now. 26 is Lithuania. For me, this is all about that refrain. The verses, don't really remember. There are some big notes in this song from Monica. The song is called Stay, of course. This is going to do all right, because there's a diaspora vote. The UK, without fail, will give this song either 10 or 12 points, and the other 10 or 12 points will go to Poland. Absolutely nailed on, in my opinion, ladies and gentlemen, because of the diaspora vote. It will happen until the end of time. Anyway, this is probably going through, because even without the diaspora, it's not that bad a song. People will dish out a few points here and there, and in the final, the juries might really appreciate this too. She's a good singer, she's got Eurovision experience behind her, but I think really it's just the chorus here. The verses don't really do anything for me, and just as the song's really getting good, it ends, which is a shame, but there we are. Number 25, Ireland. This is my biggest grower of the year. My God, is it generic? My God, is it something we've all heard before? But it's uplifting, and it's typical Eurovision fodder. Oh, come together, we are one, let's celebrate. Yes, we might have our differences, but really, we're all the same no matter where we're from. It's that sort of tune. It's super duper stuff here that is safe. Safe stuff. I'm starting to ramble. But anyway, Wild Youth, We Are One. I don't mind this. Really don't mind it. Thought it would have opened semi-1, that's not the case. Don't think it's going through. Tough semi-final, might finish last. I just don't know where the points are going to come from for this. I really don't. If people haven't voted much for Ireland in previous years, they're not going to now, especially with this song. I would have preferred Connolly, but there we are. Number 25, excuse me, halfway through pretty much, Ireland. Number 24, it's Armenia. This is Brunette with Future Lover. As I said in a previous video, so many of the comments I see on Eurovision videos this year, it's all about Armenia. It could be a video talking about, I don't know, best places to eat in Liverpool. And it will be something like, the Armenian song, I'm like, for crying out loud, you know. This Armenian song is pretty good. I like the verses more than the chorus. No doubt about it. I like the verses more than the chorus. I think she's great. I think she's got a good voice. Recreate the music video. Have her floating above the stage. That could be a real moment. Make this song stand out, because it's that sort of tune that is very difficult to picture live. How are you going to stage this in a way that makes it stick out, especially when you're on second in the running order? You need to deliver the goods. So I'm interested to see what's going to happen here. It's my number 24 for now. Might rise in a few weeks. 23, Switzerland, Remo Forra Watergun. I like this. It's growing on me as well. I like the subject matter of this song. I like the... I don't want to use the word powerful again, but that's the word I'll use. The powerful final chorus. I like the little tinkling piano at the start, and then you hear it again at various points throughout the song. Music video is pretty plain. Doesn't matter. We can't vote on that anyway. Is this going through from a very tough first semi-final? I don't know. I think he may struggle a little bit because the juries aren't there. We will find out in due course. Number 22, Cyprus. Andrew Lambrou, Break a Broken Heart. Written by a couple of Scandinavians. I think this is such a cop-out. Are there no people in Cyprus capable of writing a song? He's not even Cypriot himself. He's half Cypriot. He's from Australia. Tried to represent Australia last year. That doesn't really matter. I'm just making the point about it. This song, okay. Great studio version. Hits the high note. If he does that live, fantastic. I like the verses. I do feel as though I've heard it all before. Can't rank it any higher. Number 22. 21, Slovenia. Went internal. I think it's a gamble that's going to pay off. This is in Slovenian, which is great. Carpe Diem, Joker Out. Sort of indie rock. Touch of the Arctic Monkeys about it. It's been an absolute age since this song was released. I've seen a lot of people rank this between about 12th and 20th, so I wouldn't be surprised if that's the actual result for Slovenia in the grand final this year. Thought it was going to close semi-final 2. That's not the case. Should still qualify, though. If this was in semi-final 1, it might not be so clear-cut. But because Slovenia are in the arguably weaker second semi-final, this is in a fairly good position to go through. I like it. It's quite fun. You can have a little bit of a boogie to it. Number 21. Number 20, Serbia. Luke Black, Samo mi se spava. I can sort of relate to this song a little bit because he talks about wanting to sleep a lot. My sort of guy. This is dark, gothic, moody. Will people really be drawn to that moody nature? I don't know. If this makes the final, which I would say is looking likely, how are the juries going to go for this? I am a little bit concerned about what the juries will think about this song if indeed Serbia makes the final, which, as I've already just said, is looking fairly likely. The staging is interesting. He's dressed quite casually. Sounds like you're in a video game at certain points. Game over. Do, 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 do. You know, that's not a great impression, but you know what I'm on about here. Very, very dark and mysterious. And I can appreciate that, but I can't rank Serbia's track any higher than number 20. Number 19, Germany, Lord of the Lost, Blood and Glitter. Any bets on this finishing last in the final? Because I've got to be honest, I can actually see it happening. Unbelievably, even though this is surely the most competitive German song for years, and surely this won't be anywhere near the bottom 5, it really might still finish last. Germany might still struggle this year. The juries, I can't imagine, will really, really love this. The public might. It's hard to say. It's fairly accessible. Yes, there's a few heavy moments in this song. but it's still not over the top. The outfits are quite striking. The performance at the national final was quite striking. Pyros, those sort of cages or whatever it was they had on stage as well, that was quite impressive. I think this was the right choice for Germany in the end. I like it, but if anything, I'm probably going to like it less after Eurovision. My number 18 is Malta. Don't see this qualifying, unfortunately. This is the busker with Dance Our Own Party. Malta's problem for years. Public support. Destiny, one of the favourites to win a few years ago. 40-something points from the public. Absolute shite of the highest order. I can see something like this happening again, ladies and gentlemen. There's not even any jury support in the first semi-final. Oh my god. Malta are in big, big trouble. The public will really, really need to be in a dancey party mood for this one. Otherwise, Malta could really, really struggle once again. It's fun, it's carefree. You've got the saxophone. You know, you can just sort of get swept up in the melody. It's fun stuff. It's my number 18. Number 17, Moldova. I can see this doing very well in the final. Really well. Pasha Parfeni, former former Eurovision man himself, 2012. He's back. Soarele și Luna. Very mystical, it's almost pagan in style, I would say. You just, again, it's another song where you get swept up in the rhythm of this track. It's quite up-tempo, and I quite like the fluty sound that we have in this as well. It does get a bit repetitive, but on the whole, this is a pretty solid entry, and the best choice for Moldova this year. 16 is Czech Republic, Czechia with Vesna, My Sister's Crown. This is one of the most competitive songs they've ever had. This feels very Slavic in style, multiple different languages, really packs a punch, the lyrical content as well. I think this is going to do quite well. I really do. The national final performance wasn't great, but that's nothing to do with the band. It's because the national final itself just wasn't that impressive in terms of the way it was arranged. It needed a bigger stage, lights, the full works. In Liverpool, we're going to have that. So I'm really interested to see how this is going to be staged. For some reason, I think it could be a little similar to Manisha for Russia a couple of years ago, in terms of its presentation. Don't ask me why, I'm just getting that sort of vibe. Number 15 is Portugal. This is good stuff. Mimi Cat with Ai Coração, great singer, great outfits, great fun. Another song where you're just straight into it and you're whipped up into a frenzy. The crowd will love this. It's only just a qualifier in terms of what the bookmakers are saying, which is interesting. Will people go big for this? I don't know. But it's really vibrant, very colourful, very jaunty, in Portuguese, staying true to themselves. There's a lot to like here. And in terms of a slick performance, this is right up there as perhaps going to be one of the best of the year. Number 14, Israel. This is 3 songs in one. I don't think it knows what it wants to be. But we have a very established young musician at the helm in Noah Kirel. This is Unicorn, of course. The power of a unicorn. I'm not sure what powers unicorns have, but that doesn't really matter here. We have a dance break at the end, which people will go nuts for. There's a bit of repetition, which in my opinion is a tad on the irritating side. Music video is good, doesn't matter, we can't vote on that. I have full faith that she will deliver, and I do like lots of bits and pieces in this song, but does it stitch together, if you see what I mean, very well? I'm not sure about that. Maybe just outside the top 10 in the final is my wild prediction at this early stage. Number 13, France. This is classy, this is slick, this is quite sexy and sultry stuff. Lazaro with Évidemment. She's there, you know, strutting her stuff a little bit on that podium, really feeling the tune she's singing. This is good. Takes a while to really find its groove, and then it does, and then we're well away. Don't really have much else to say about this song. It's good stuff. I do think this could be underrated in the final, though. I really do. So I don't think any of us should be surprised if loads of other countries suck all of the points and poor France are left with very little for the second year in a row. Number 12, Austria. Like this more than I thought I would. Taya and Selena with Who the Hell is Edgar? Obviously it's a bit silly, but at the same time it's not really silly at all. It's a very interesting tune. Po, 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 until the end of time. I think they've got great vocals. I think they've got good chemistry. They seem like very likeable individuals. I'm interested to see how this is going to be staged, because it could be a complete mess, or it could be a stroke of genius. So I'm interested to see that in Liverpool in 2 months' time, less than 2 months' time. This is arguably a real return to form for Austria, and I think this will be in the final, and I think it will be top 10 with the public. Jury's not so sure, but the public will respond with quite a few points. Number 11, we're getting there, ladies and gentlemen. Number 11 is Denmark. It seems to me as though this song is still getting a bit of hate, I suppose. I don't really know why, because it's not bad. Riley is from the Faroe Islands. He's in his mid-20s. I thought he was about 16, but he's 25 or something. Curly-haired. This is breaking my heart. It's a bit cringy. The music video's cringy, but it doesn't matter, because we're not voting on that in less than 2 months' time. This has a touch of the 1975 about it. I like the final chorus. I'm not sure about the slight electronic thing going on with his voice at certain points in this tune, a vocoder or whatever it's called. Not sure about that. Apparently the staging is going to be very different from how it was in DMGP. Fine. It's my number 11. It's actually one of my most listened to songs this year. Number 10, Estonia, Quality, a songwriter with Eurovision pedigree. This is Alika with Bridges. I think this is really beautiful. I think this really stands out. We don't have many true ballads this year. This is one of them. Builds up nicely, very powerful vocals. The piano that sort of plays itself. We had that at AC Lau. Bring it to Liverpool. Elevate the staging a bit more. Really ramp up the drama, because it is quite a dramatic song. I hope this does really well. The juries in the final could really, really give a lot of points to Estonia. Number 9 is Italy. People are saying this is a big fat disappointment. I suppose it is a little bit, but Marco's been at Eurovision before. He's one of Italy's best male singers. He's going to command that stage. He doesn't really need anybody else. Due Vitae, we haven't heard yet the Eurovision version of it, because he needed to cut about 1.5 minutes, I think. So I don't know how it's going to sound for Eurovision yet. Maybe he has released it, maybe he hasn't. Don't really know. We'll find out in due course. This is just beautiful. It's in the Italian language. It's very, very pretty stuff. He really goes for it in the final third of the song. The Sanremo performance was excellent. He got a standing ovation more than once. Yes, it's really, really nice. Is it competitive? Maybe not as much as some previous Italian entries, but this is probably going to do as well as Brividi did last year, if not better. My number 8 is Iceland. The bookmakers think this is only just going through, which is a real shame. I hope this goes through fairly comfortably. Diljau with power. She's young. What a voice. I said previously, I like everything about the way this was performed at Songvakeppnin. The smoke machine, the visuals, her voice, her in general, the movement, the energy. Oh, it was absolutely fantastic. I was really, really invested in this performance, in this song. I thought it was the right choice, absolutely. My God, between her and the runner-up, it was a clear choice for me, and Iceland made the right choice. This is good stuff, and I just hope that people get on board with it. I've seen people saying that it's very sort of there, it doesn't really stand out from the field. Maybe it doesn't, but it's not a bad song whatsoever. I think it's really good. My number 7, my God, we are nearly there, ladies and gentlemen. Bear with me. My number 7 is Australia. This is my winner of semi-final 2, Voyager with Promise. This is rock, elements of metal. We've got a guitar solo towards the end. It goes a bit crazy, to be honest with you, as the song progresses. Great vocals, good energy. It's closing semi-2. So let's have pyros, smoke, fire, the full works. Go big. Really round off semi-final 2 with a bang. And if this makes the final, which is looking very likely, maybe it could open the final. Maybe it could close the final as well as semi-final 2. Who knows? Certainly, it's a big, epic-sounding tune. I think this is a really solid Australian track, and it took me a while to warm up to it, but now it's one of my favourites. My number 6 is Spain. The studio version, not so keen on. Don't know why, not so keen on it. The live performance at Benidorm Fest was mwah, 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 mwah. It was just so good. The vocals are immense here. Clear, crisp, strong vocals by a strong woman. You could absolutely see the passion. You could hear the passion in every single syllable of this performance. It was just superb. I was blown away, to be honest with you. I was blown away. At first I thought, oh, is this really going to be my cup of tea? But then I saw the live performance and I thought, wow, okay, now I can sort of understand why Spanish people are loving this, what all the hype is about. I think that hype has died down a bit. But Blanca is a smashing singer, and I have no doubt in my mind it's going to be a real moment on that Eurovision stage. This should be getting top 10 in the final. It's this sort of modern flamenco style tune, great singer, somebody who is totally in control of what she's doing on stage, no nerves, flawless stuff. I really like it. Top 5. Number 5 is the UK, which is where I think I ranked the UK last year. This is Mae Muller. I wrote a song. I like her personality. I think she's really fun. I think she's really up for it. She's been talking very positively about the contest. She's been on TV quite a bit, on radio quite a bit. Really lovely stuff. This song is so contemporary. It is bang on the money. This is just the sort of thing that you would hear on British radio. Can't stress this enough. If this was by Dua Lipa, massive hit all over the world, in my opinion. Massive hit. Mae Muller is singing it instead. This should be a big hit. Really, it should be. It's already charted in the top 40 here in the UK, which for a Eurovision entry months before Eurovision taking place is unprecedented. That's really cool. I like the music video. She's on last in the final, so deliver, because there's 25 more songs before you. It is 25, isn't it? Who cares? There's plenty more songs before you in the final, so you've got to blow everything else away, because when you're on last, people might have already made their mind up who they're going to vote for. So give them a reason to vote for you instead. So this has got to be above and beyond, in my opinion. The pressure is on, but I don't think many people are expecting her to do as well as Sam Ryder. Anything between, potentially winning, but anywhere between, I would say, 5th and 12th in the final, I think is fairly realistic. She hasn't performed this live yet, I don't think, so we're still waiting for that live performance. But hopefully it's going to be really, really good. Number 4, Sweden. Loreen Tattoo. This is winning. I know some people have said Finland could do it, but I just don't think the juries are going to be on board with Finland enough. Even if the public are, the juries probably won't be. Whereas I honestly can see the juries having Sweden well ahead of everybody else. Well ahead of everybody else. 300 plus points. And the public, 230 points minimum. So we're looking at 500 points plus in total, I would say. This is coming for the win. And I think it would deserve it, to be honest. It is a very good song. It's staged really well. I think she is going to have the same staging in Liverpool as she did at Melfest, which is great. There was a lot riding on that. The staging elevates this no end. No doubt about it. The staging is points going your way anyway. It builds up. She's a great performer, great voice. Don't overdo the smoke machine, and you could be onto something very, very special indeed. My number 3 is the Netherlands. My God, I hope this qualifies. Mia Nicolai and Dion Cooper with Burning Daylight. Lyrically, I think this is one of the best of the year. I can really relate to some of the lyrics, which is great. I think the music video is good. I think the harmonies are great. Duncan Lawrence's involvement, you can hear it really in this song. The final chorus, yes, it does have hope to it. It starts off maybe in miserable fashion. Lyrically, it's quite miserable stuff. But there's this optimism to it as well, which shines through in the final part of the song. Liked it from the first moment I heard it. Netherlands have done it again. But in a very tough semi-final, I am concerned it might not go through. Fingers crossed, eh? Top 2 now. Oh boy, Scandinavia know what they're doing this year. My number 2 is Norway. This is Alessandra with Queen of Kings, part Italian. She's opening this year's contest in semi-final 1. She is young, but if she performs as well as she did at MGP, we don't need to worry about this. It is almost certainly going through with ease and going to do well in the final. Maybe top 5 in the final, who knows. She beat Ulrika very comfortably. And I do want a little bit more colour to the live performance, because it was fairly dark at MGP, just lots of white lights and the dancers holding the white lights, but there wasn't really much colour to speak of at all. So liven it up just a touch. I'm sure her outfit will be the same. I'm sure the energy will be the same. I'm sure she'll nail the high note towards the end as well. This is just... there's such great energy to it. It's so good. Really, I've listened to this so much. Still holds up for me. And I hope she does really, really well. One of my favourite acts this year. Which means my winner, to no real surprise, it's Cha 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 for Finland. Karja, there he is. He's a little bit cocky. But he's sort of getting away with it all. You know, this is clearly a contender to win. The public will go massive for this. It's closing semi-final one. The crowd are going to be pumped like you wouldn't believe. It doesn't even really feel like a Eurovision song. But it is going to be a Eurovision song. It is already a Eurovision song. It's catchy, it's techno, rock, pop, all smushed into some sort of interesting mixture. And once you get on board with it, you don't want to get off. It's like this roller coaster ride. Away we go. Bring out the pina coladas and champagne. Everybody's having a good time. Let loose, have fun. It's that sort of tune. It just gets you fired up. Stick it on in the gym. Not that you would catch me dead in the gym, but stick it on in the gym, and before you know it, you know, you're burning calories galore on that treadmill because it just gets you so fired up. It either makes you want to go for a run or punch somebody in the face. It's that sort of song. It's just so good. I've listened to it so much over the past couple of weeks. It's ridiculous. And it's the way it just sticks in your head. It's such a catchy, simple refrain. And it's there in my brain all the time. Cha, 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 you know. And that's going to be the case for a lot of other people in May. My question to you, because I was thinking about this earlier, ladies and gentlemen, do leave your thoughts in the comments below. If Sweden win and Finland finish second, which is a very real possibility, a lot of people think that might happen, who's going to finish third? Who's going to finish last in the final? Interesting things to think about now, ladies and gentlemen, as we edge ever closer to this year's competition taking place. So there you have it. Just to recap, my qualifiers from semi-final 1, bottom to top: Serbia, Malta, Moldova, Czechia, Portugal, Israel, Sweden, Netherlands, Norway, Finland. And from semi-final 2, bottom to top: Poland, Lithuania, Armenia, Cyprus, Slovenia, Austria, Denmark, Estonia, Iceland, and Australia. And obviously I do need to sort out my ranking a little bit because Ukraine weren't my personal winners last year, so technically speaking they should be a semi-finalist for me this year. That's the way I sort of put it all together. Sweden, on the other hand, Lorraine, is an automatic finalist for me this year because Sweden was my winner last year. How about that? So, my voice is aching now. My God, I've been talking non-stop for about 38 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, that's my ranking. As I said at the start, don't take it too seriously, don't take it too personally. It's bound to change either a little bit or significantly over the next couple of months. Let me know your thoughts. I will leave timestamps and what have you in the description, comments below, that sort of thing. If you've stuck with me for this long, I thank you, and I'll be back with more Eurovision-related content very soon. Those blog posts about Georgia and Italy's entries will surface very soon. I'm going to start working on them very, very soon indeed. And I'm going to take a little break, maybe, I don't know, a week or so from Eurovision-related stuff, because I've been making a lot of videos lately. I just want to sort of move away from it for a little bit and then get back into it. Maybe talk about the betting odds, some other things as well. Feel free to leave video suggestions in the comments below if you wish. Until next time, that's it. My top 37 in about 38 minutes. Until next time, take care of yourselves, stay safe, and bye for now.